This is Biology Chapter 7. Today we'll be covering pages 91 and 92. Yesterday we had done modes of transmission for communicable diseases. Today we'll be covering ways to prevent these diseases. Now first is not eating stale and spoiled food. The food which is stale, जो खाना बासा है, it has been cooked, it was cooked yesterday, day before yesterday, it has been there for 2-3 days. Don't eat that food. And spoiled food, the food which has gone bad, which is tasting sour, the taste has changed, the smell has changed, and it has started to rot. Those food items should not be eaten because the germs have started growing in that food, and if we consume such food, it will only make us sick and cause stomach problems, food poisoning, and other infections. Using boiled water. Now these days we have purifiers and RO systems in our houses, but if they are not available somehow, then it's better to boil the water before consuming for drinking and cooking, because such water, unpurified water, may contain germs. The water might be contaminated, so boiling water would kill the germs present in it. Keeping food items covered. When the food items are not covered, the germs in the air might come in contact with them, the insects might come in contact, flies may contaminate the food, so we should be covering the food items if they are left out in open. And storing food at low temperature, basically refrigerating the food. After we have any extra food left over, we always keep it in the refrigerator so that it does not go bad, it is not spoiled, and it can't be reheated and consumed later on. Keeping the surroundings clean. Cleaning the floor with disinfectants like phenol. Now it is very important for us to maintain our personal hygiene, keep our bodies clean, and also keep the surroundings in which we live in clean. The house, the area around the house, our schools, hospitals, the places we go, the marketplaces, other public places, they should be clean. For your houses, we should maintain cleanliness, and we should use disinfectants like phenol to clean the house or other surfaces in buildings, outside buildings, schools and all. Using antiseptics like Lysol or Dettol for washing clothes and drying them in the sun. Whenever we wash the clothes, we make sure to use good quality detergents or soaps, but also we should be using disinfectants like Lysol or Dettol to clean the clothes, to kill off all the germs present on them, especially if there is a patient in the house. And drying them in the sun. Straight sunlight or the direct sunlight which is absorbed by clothes, which when the clothes are exposed to direct sunlight, the germs present in them are killed. That is the reason why when the season changes, we take out our cold weather clothes like sweaters, jackets, quilts, and they are we first dry them up in the sun, so that any germs or any insects or mites which might be in the clothes during the storage, they might be killed, or they would just go away. Not throwing waste in open places, in rivers and nearby water bodies. Whenever we throw waste like industrial waste, sewage, domestic waste, garbage in open places like empty lands, empty plots, or we throw them in water bodies like ponds or rivers, this contaminates the soil and the water. The food crops which is grown on such contaminated soil, or if we consume such contaminated water, if the food crops are contaminated by such polluted water due to irrigation, then these germs will and other chemicals and toxins will also find their way to our bodies and make us sick. So disposal of garbage, industrial waste and domestic waste, sewage, etc. is very important. It should be done in a proper way so that the pollution, the environment is not polluted around. Not allowing garbage and water to accumulate and stagnate in surroundings. This is just related to the point above. If garbage or water is lying stagnant for a long time, it will smell, it attracts insects, it will attract mosquitoes, flies, and it will become a breeding ground for such insects. And these insects are the vectors, they are carrier for various diseases, which again will cause the spread of diseases in the areas nearby. Avoiding dirty and crowded areas. The areas which are dirty, they are not clean, where the public places which are very dirty and crowded, where lot of people come, like for the recent situation with the COVID-19, we have been told to avoid crowds, and social distancing is being encouraged, because people who might be infected, who might be carrying germs, will spread them to other people in such public places or crowded areas. Covering mouth and nose while coughing or sneezing, and advising the same to others and to the person suffering from some communicable disease. Now, we have always been told to cover our mouth when we cough or sneeze. Also, we are always advised to use a handkerchief to cover our mouth. We are using masks these days whenever we go out of the house. This is good so that if we are sick or someone else is sick, we don't catch the germs, we don't pass on the infection to other people. And when we advise others to do the same, we make sure that basic public hygiene is being followed, and spread of communicable diseases can be stopped. Avoiding direct contact with persons suffering from some communicable disease. When we come in contact with the person suffering from a communicable disease, sitting with them, living with them, playing with them, eating with them, sleeping with them, coming in contact with their things, their clothes, etc., it makes us susceptible to getting that in particular infection or that communicable disease which the person is suffering from. That is why it is advisable, if they are a patient in the house, the patient should be isolated. They should be isolated in a separate room. They should be able to rest and take medicine properly, and we should also take care so that we might not get sick from the person. Then comes not using articles used by the patient. This I have already covered with the previous point. Maintaining good health. We should take care of our health and maintain healthy bodies by taking food at regular time. It is not only important to have healthy food, it is also important to take food at a regular time, so that the body knows how to manage the systems when the food is coming in, when to digest, when to release the energy. If we are not eating in regular time intervals, the body doesn't know what to eat, when to eat, how much to eat, most importantly, and this might lead to obesity, this might lead to weight loss, this might lead to many other digestive problems as well. So having healthy food and at the right time, at regular time, is very important for the body. Going to bed early, but not just after taking meals. When we take meals, it is important to have some physical activity like a walk, or we could do our regular everyday activities, so that it will facilitate the digestion of food in the body. Taking 8 hours sleep a day. We should make sure that we have a regular sleep cycle. We go to bed on time, we get up in the morning in time, and we should be getting 8 hours of sleep every night so as to maintain a healthy body. Passing bowels every day, preferably in the morning. It is important to pass your bowels or excrete or use the toilet every day, preferably in the morning, because in the morning it is the best time to remove all the waste and toxins from your body, and the body becomes more active for the day. If we are constipated due to some reason, then the bowel, we have digestion problems, we have acidity, we can have a lack of fiber in the body, or maybe we are consuming less water. But passing bowels every day is very important for good health. If it is not being done, then the bowels will just sit in the large intestine and cause problems with the digestion. Keeping away from smoking, drinking, chewing tobacco, taking drugs, etc. We should not inculcate any bad habits in ourselves, like drinking alcohol, taking drugs, or chewing or smoking or chewing tobacco, etc., because these things are not good for the body. They are not good for the mental health and the physical health as well. They have been known to cause many mental and physical problems, including dementia, cancer, and other problems. Avoiding fast food and junk food. Not only the fast food and junk food is deep fried, which is not good for the body, it is also, we don't know how it is prepared. The ingredients used might not be fresh, they might not be of good quality. Moreover, these foods are high in carbs, and they or in fats, and they are not good for our bodies. Taking break as and when the body needs needs it while working, as doing work continuously without rest makes a person tired. Whenever you are working, you are studying, doing any physical activity or anything, make sure you take breaks and take regular rest so that your body does not get too tired. It will also lead in problems getting sleep. It might lead in problems having concentration. It might create anxiety and stress. So it is important to rest the body at particular intervals of time so that we don't get tired, stressed and overworked. Doing simple physical exercises to keep fit and active. Whenever we do exercise, there are many benefits which we get. Our metabolic rate increases, our body burns fat properly, energy is released in larger quantities, we intake more oxygen, many happy hormones, dopamines in the brain are released, which are stress relievers, anxiety relievers, and it is overall good for our physical and mental health. Promoting vaccination and immunization, medical aid and medicines. Vaccination and immunizations are given to the children when they are infants. They might be up to 5 years or even 10 years of age in case of some vaccines. This is important to build the immunity of the body against certain deadly diseases. Medical aid. Wherever we live, if we fall ill, if there is an accident or anything happens to us, we should be able to get proper medical aid, as in visit a doctor, visit a hospital, get medical facilities and all. And medicines. Providing health education in schools. This is what right now we are doing, studying this chapter in the first place. Other than that, health education should be provided in schools so that children are made aware of how to be healthy, how to maintain health, what things to do, what things not to do, and about general health issues. Establishing health centers to educate people about causes, spread, prevention and treatment of common diseases. This is done mostly in the rural areas where people are not educated and they are not aware about general health care. They don't know what certain diseases are, how they are caused, how their lifestyle might be causing illnesses, what should they do if there is someone is ill in the house, how to prevent diseases, how to prevent the spread of diseases, how to treat the patient. And this education should be given to the people through government dispensaries, government health centers, private clinics also. Now this table contains the vaccines which are given against different diseases. These have been discussed in the previous video, so you could just go through them, just take a read of the chapter we have covered till now, and try to do checkpoint 1 on your own. Now let's just wrap it up with the general introduction to non-communicable diseases. Communicable diseases were the diseases which were infectious, which were communicable to one person to other people. Non-communicable diseases are the diseases which do not spread from one person to other person or persons. That is, if someone has a non-communicable disease, they will not make other people sick. Types of non-communicable diseases. Nutritional deficiency diseases, when the body is not getting enough nutrients in it. It is very common. We might have deficiency of certain vitamins, we have deficiency of iron, we might have deficiency of calcium. It is very common and it can be combated by changing our diet, eating more healthy and balanced diet. Genetic disorders. Genetic disorders are the conditions which we inherit from our parents. These diseases again cannot be spread to any other person. Allergies or hypersensitivity. Some people are allergic to dust, for example. They are allergic to certain food items. Whenever they consume those food items, the body reacts. There might be swelling in the throat, there might be indigestion, there might be inflammation of stomach or other things. Some people are allergic to certain metals. For example, I am allergic to iron, cannot wear it. So these allergies are not communicable at all. The person alone suffers from them, and it is just sensitivity of the body to certain foodstuffs and certain things in the surroundings. Degenerative diseases, that is when we have the body has not developed properly. This might be since birth, or it might be due to some accident or some incident. In this case, the person becomes physically or mentally disabled in some form, and again this is not communicable from one person to another at all. Cancer is basically uncontrolled division of cells of the body. It is the cells of our body which are no longer in a sense under the control of the brain. In this case, the cells divide unsupervised, they start malfunctioning, and they might form a cluster or a tumor in the body. The person may or may not get treated for it, but these diseases are not communicable. These cannot be spread. Diseases caused by pollution, for example, developing breathing problems like asthma, like lung cancer, or any other pollution like skin allergies due to coming in contact with contaminated water or soil. These diseases are not communicable from person to person. So this is it for today. Tomorrow we'll be covering non-communicable diseases in more detail.